All right, guys, so what we're doing today is we are going over the sequence of operation of a natural gas furnace. The furnace we have here is a two-stage 96% gas furnace. These are basic concepts. It's going to go from the start to the finish of overall of the sequence of operation. Very important to know this. We're going to start out very simple. The furnace itself is waiting for a call from the thermostat. So the circuit board will receive 24-volt signal from the thermostat down to the circuit board on the W terminal. That's going to tell the furnace that, yes, we need heat, let's go ahead and turn on or start the process of heating your home. Once it receives that signal to turn on, it is then going to turn 120 volts up to the draft inducer. The draft inducer is going to turn on and come up to full speed. Its purpose to clear any flue gases out of the heat exchanger and make sure the vent pipes are free of any obstructions. At this point, the pressure switches here are going to prove that. They are actually measuring the vacuum on this draft inducer. This one happens to have 3 for the multi-stages of the furnace. Some of them just have 1. This is going to measure it through this pressure tube, measure of the vacuum of the draft inducer. Once that is performed, the pressure switch is going to say, yes, I am okay, the draft inducer is working properly. It will send power back down to the circuit board to prove that. After this, the circuit board is going to send power up to our hot surface igniter, which is going to turn on and light up and get hot for about 15 to 20 seconds. Once it is up to full temperature, the circuit board is going to come over and send 24 volts to the gas valve. This will cause the gas valve to open. It will go ahead and let natural gas come out of the burner bar into the burners and light. After it lights all the way across, on the other side, the far side of it, there is a flame sensor. This is used to prove the fact that we have flame in the furnace. It will then send a microamp signal back down to the circuit board saying, yes, we have flame, keep going amongst your process towards heating the home. After this, the circuit board's then going to say, I'm going into a timer, allowing it 30 to 40 seconds, depending on some models, of giving it time for the heat exchanger to heat up before it starts moving air. After at the end of this timer, the blower motor down the blower compartment is going to turn on and it's going to start blowing air across the heat exchanger, cooling it down and distributing it throughout the ductwork. This process, as it stands there, is going to continue until the thermostat says, I'm satisfied. After the room or the space heats up to the proper desired temperature that the thermostat is set to, the thermostat then removes that call we first had from the circuit boards, removes that 24-volt call to the W terminal. This tells the circuit board and furnace that, okay, I should be done heating now. It's going to start shutting down. So what it's going to do, the very first thing, is remove the 24 volts from the gas valve. It will cause it to close, causing the flames to immediately turn off. At this point, the circuit board is going to say, I'm going into another timer mode to where we need to get rid of the rest of the heat in this furnace. It's going to allow the blower motor and draft inducer to continue to run for roughly 90 seconds. That will remove any excess residual heat and any flue gases that are still inside of the heat exchanger. At this point, the furnace is going to become at rest, or in standby as we call it, and it is done with its full cycle of operation, and it's just going to wait again for the thermostat to make the next call for heat. Very important to realize this. Once we get this down to where the sequence of operation during our troubleshooting process, it's going to be very important to realize where that process stopped. It's going to stop somewhere when we're troubleshooting something. It has to start at the beginning and end at the end. Wherever it's interrupted is a likelihood of where we can start our diagnostic process. So let's recap real quickly. Thermostat calls, turns the draft inducer on. The pressure switch proves it. The igniter turns on. The gas valve opens. The flame sensor proves or disproves the heat, sends it back down. The blower motor turns on to start heating the home. very important to realize this process. It's a very linear process. Even though this is a 96% furnace, much of the other furnaces out there operate in a very similar way. So this is the sequence of operation of a natural gas furnace.